He's used to get bossed around by women.
Woo! These might need another minute. The ultimate taste test of wholesome versus comfort food.
And what are the ingredients? To put on a dish towel as opposed to just a stainless steel counter.
I have no idea. Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm here with a very special guest, my Aunt Lisa.
Hi Jen.
Hi. And my Uncle John, who's actually behind the camera. And today we're going to do a cookie bake-off, and we're doing wholesome versus
Comfort.
Ooh.
So we'll see who wins.
Yeah. So Lisa, what will you be making today?
I'll be making my sea salt chocolate chip cookies. It's a recipe that I adapted from the Toll House famous original recipe, and I made a few adaptations that give it a little bit of a sparkle, a little bit of a salt, a little bit of a sweet, and it really goes over well at our family parties. Everybody always requests it for Thanksgiving, as Jenny knows, so whenever there's a special event, that's always first on the request list.
Yeah, so we come from a really big Italian family, so Italians love their food. And I'll be making a healthier version of the chocolate chip peanut butter cookie, which I adapted from Ariel Laurie, who is another influencer on Instagram and YouTube as well. And I sort of did the same thing as Lisa. I started with a recipe and went ahead and modified it. And then something that Lisa and John don't know is that Lisa's daughter is Paige, and she's a nurse at Mass General. And my other cousin, Allie, is also a nurse at Mass General. And of course, it's a really tough time for everyone in our healthcare system. So all ad revenue from this video will be donated to Mass General.
Jenny, that's amazing. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Oh wow.
So what you guys can do at home is give this a like or a comment, because that's just gonna help more people see it. And the more people that see it, the more ad revenue we can have, and the more that we can gift to Mass General, which is one of the best hospitals in the country and is definitely on the front grounds for fighting coronavirus here in the US. So anyway, that's enough about sad stuff.
That is so fantastic. So props to Jenny, thank you. And yeah, thanks to all of our healthcare workers. Like Jenny said, amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we're going to tell you guys what ingredients we're putting in our cookies, and don't worry, we're going to put the entire recipes down in the about box below. So if you guys want to make either of these versions, mine's going to be better, below, you can use that as a reference point. So Lisa, why don't you tell us what ingredients we have?
All right, so we're going to start with some white sugar, and we've got some vanilla extract. We have butter, and what's important to note is this butter is salted butter. A lot of recipes when you're baking will call for unsalted butter, but this requires salted, and we'll get to that a little bit later and you'll know why. We also have our semi-sweet chocolate chips, and we have our eggs. What's important with your eggs is you want to get them room temp. It's better for baking, and everything blends a little bit better.
Wait, why is that? Why?
I actually don't know. I just know that is a true fact. I know that little tip. We also have flour, and in our little flour mixture we have baking soda and baking powder, which again, that's a little bit different than what you're going to see on the back of the Toll House recipe. And there's a little secret ingredient that's going to come at the end, but you're just going to have to watch and wait for that.
Yeah, don't click out. All right, so for my ingredients, I would say this is more of like a hippie version. So in lieu of eggs, we have a chia seed egg, which is water and chia seeds. So it becomes this kind of gelatinous texture, and it's really great for mimicking an egg. I have vanilla, so that stays the same. We're using coconut sugar as opposed to a refined sugar, and a dark chocolate, which is 75%. I think 75% or 80% is a really great percentage to look for. That's just going to cut down the sugar and carb contents. And then I have an all natural organic peanut butter, which looks so good because it's been sitting out at room temperature. Yeah. And then we have Bob's Red Mill almond flour. So this is a mixture of the almond flour, and then I actually snuck in some collagen. This is Vital Proteins collagen, which is really great for your hair, skin, and nails. I'm using a banana. Ideally, this would be a little bit more browned than this one is here, but hashtag coronavirus. So we're using that guy.
That is what we got.
Yep. And then I have some monk fruit sweetener, which is kind of similar to like a stevia, and some pink Himalayan salt, let's see, baking powder and baking soda as well, and a little bit of coarse sea salt. Yeah, I think that's about it.
All right, we're ready to go.
All right. So normally I would start with just the dry ingredients, but because I have to mash this guy up, I'm going to start with this. That That was really hard to do. Do you open the banana from the top or the bottom?
I always open from the top.
Yeah.
Sometimes it breaks though.
You know, one of my friends always opens from the bottom and it weirds me out.
Tried that. I don't even know how that would be effective.
I know. I've heard that's like the proper way to do it, but I have no idea why. So.
Well, if you're eating it, it's like a popsicle stick from the bottom, I guess, if you leave it peeled.
You're not supposed to be talking.
you can talk.
Oh,
Okay. All right, Lisa, you want to help me out here and give this a little...
You got it. Yep.
Since we don't have butter and we don't have eggs, we want it to be moist so that when you bite in, it's still like that really ooey gooey cookie.
Good
and
texture.
I don't know if this banana is going to get us there today, but we'll see. So we have our mashed banana.
Looks good.
All right, and then as a reminder, this is our almond flour and collagen. I'm just gonna put that right in there. Then I'm gonna use a lot of coconut sugar. You could also use maple syrup if you wanted. Or a mixture would be great. So this kind of mimics the taste of brown sugar, which is really yummy. And then this is the, I already told you guys. It's all the white stuff. All right, so I'm gonna give this a little bit of a mix before we add in the peanut butter. Many of you know that I'm in New York, but Lisa and John are very nicely hosting me during this crazy time. So
We're here to take care of our family,
Yeah.
right? Family first.
So we're all hanging out all the time. So people often say that Lisa and I look alike. So leave a comment down below, yes or no, if you think that we look alike. We're adding in the chia. I'm gonna hope that look at that.
Jenny, can you explain how you did that? Because Paige and I were doing a recipe a couple weeks ago, and we weren't real certain how to make that.
So I believe this is 1 tablespoon chia, and then just add 3 tablespoons of water, or just a 1-to-3 ratio, and then you literally just let it set.
Sit? Okay.
Yeah, or sit.
And how long do you have to set for?
This is probably like an hour.
Okay.
But it becomes gelatinous pretty quickly. If you're in a time crunch, then don't worry about it. I'm gonna add the vanilla. Honestly, this is looking real battery still, so I might need to add some oat milk, but we'll see. That's the great thing about cooking. If it doesn't look quite right, every batch is kind of its own.
Right,
And
yes.
just keep going with it.
Family says they love the cookies, so we'll see. We'll see what y'all think.
That was so really peanut buttery. What do you think? Do you think that needs some oat milk? Maybe?
Maybe stir it a little more and then see where we end up.
So I'm gonna do a little bit of the So Delicious coconut, vanilla, and sweeten. Or is this? I don't know. Sweeten maybe. So you want to get started on yours while I start working on this bad boy?
Sure. So I'm going to use my KitchenAid mixer. Okay, so here we are at the mixer. As I said, we already got our dry ingredients and they're all set to go in a smaller bowl. So first thing you want to do is just pop it up. And I use this attachment. I like to start with my butter first. And when I put my butter in, it's softened, but you don't want it super soft because that also will flatten out your cookies if it's too warm, and once it gets into the oven, it just kind of flattens them out. I like a little mound. To do that, butter can't come straight out of the fridge, but you do want it softened for a little bit. So if you can kind of look. So if you look, when I try to squish it, it doesn't really make a huge indent. It's just enough that I know that it's soft, but not too soft, so it won't flatten out my cookies. So now we have our sugar. I'm just gonna put it right on top. And we're good to go. Put this down, add it in. You wanna add one at a time. You wanna make sure that it incorporates really well into the batter before you add your second egg. So here we go. My vanilla extract. I don't know why I know this or how I know this. I read it somewhere along the line. When you incorporate your flour, you want to do it slowly. But there's something to do with moisture. It has something to do with the flour and the moisture. I'm not sure why, but I know that it's true, so I'm just going to follow that direction. I'm going to incorporate my flour really slowly. I do not have brown sugar in these cookies, so that was an adaptation. I took out the brown sugar, and I really love the color of the cookies. And I got that from my Aunt Dora, who was an unbelievable baker, and she always used to make these amazing chocolate chip cookies. And I always tried to duplicate it, and at one of our family functions, her daughter-in-law Rita said, I don't think she used brown sugar. So that was a little trick that I added, a little modification, and I really love the color of these cookies. I'm just gonna save a step and I'm just gonna add them right in here as well.
So now we each have our own batters, and you can tell the difference in the color immediately. These are so sticky. I almost want to like grease my hands.
So one of the funny things about my oven, I feel, I don't know if anyone else thinks this, when I bake, I don't think my cookies bake as well when there's 2 baking sheets in the oven.
Yeah,
Have you noticed that?
I think so. I think because it kind of, the energy is like,
Doesn't circulate as well?
yeah, or it's the same heat for more cookie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Physics?
So, yeah, it usually takes me a long time because I'm very fussy. I'm like,
They're not scientists.
We have no idea.
Do you know the difference between like a regular oven and a convection oven?
I think they cook faster.
Does it have to do with like air circulation?
I think it does, yeah.
All right, so these are gonna go in the oven and we'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, these beauties are ready to go in. It's at 375 and I do it for exactly 9 minutes. So Alexa is my timer, so I'll have her give me a 9-minute timer here, put it on the middle rack, put it right in, shut it. Alexa, set the timer for 9 minutes. So they're ready to be taken out of the oven. Let's take a look and see what we have. Okay, perfect. So you can see the color. They have a little bit of a yellow hint to them from the butter, but they're not super dark because of the brown sugar, which of course we did not include. So I typically like to let them sit here on the baking sheet for just a minute, and then I take my sea salt and I just sprinkle it right on top, give a nice little healthy dose because you can see a lot of it falls off onto the sheet. So just like this, just kind of line them up. And if you can look on the bottom, you can look right here, you can see the bottom. That's a really nice color that you want. That lets us know that the cookie is cooked enough all the way through, but not so much that it has a little burnt crispy.
All right, so we're actually gonna bake these at 350 for about 10 to 11 minutes, and then we're gonna take a break at the very end. So I guess 10 minutes in, top these guys, and then put it in for the final minute, if that makes sense. It will make sense once you see it. Ooh, we got some big guys, they're running together. Right. So now is my favorite part. We've taken the chocolates and I've just gotten them into their little squares, and you just place them atop of each cookie. Of course, you want more or less chocolate. You can, decide to do that. And sometimes you'll get some chocolate runoff, but honestly, once it hardens, it's so good. And sometimes the chocolate goes on the bottom too, which is, Lisa calls it a healthy Oreo. So we have them looking like this. And we're gonna put them back in for 1 minute. Okay, so these are fresh out of the oven, and now we are just gonna put them on the cooling rack. And meanwhile, I am going to put a little bit of coarse sea salt. Sea salt just gives these cookies like the balance between sea salt and chocolate is one of my personal favorites. All right, so next we're gonna see John, and he's going to do the ultimate taste test of the Wholesome versus comfort food cookies. All right, you guys are up.
All right, so here we go. I'm the judge, so I will be tasting each one. I'll start with my wife Lisa's.
Be careful there. We've been married 29 years. You want to make it to 30, right?
Delicious as usual.
He's well trained.
Now Jenny.
Uh-oh.
Let me get a nice chocolate bite.
They might be warm.
Mm-hmm.
Can we have a drum roll?
It's really good. It's really good. The fact that it was warm is really good, yeah. So, one thing I've learned after being married for almost 30 years is that I would say if I have to pick, I'll have to pick chocolate chip.
Smart guy.
But they're both, I would have to rate them both a 10. But since I look like someone that never met a cookie I don't love, you can understand that. And I want to thank Jenny for donating any funds to this to the Mass General Hospital. My wife's a nurse, my daughter Paige is a nurse, and my niece Allie are a nurse, and they both, Allie and Paige both work at Mass General. So thank you very much, Jenny, for doing this. And both cookies are a 10, but I have to go with my brain, and I have to award the victor.
Aw.
I feel like I cheated. But I'll take it. Like I said, I'm competitive. I'd like to also thank all the healthcare professionals, doctors, nurses, x-ray techs, phlebotomy, everybody at the hospitals. We want to say thank you. It's a tremendous amount of stress on all of you workers. I hope that you're loved and supported at home, and we know you are, but we want you to know that we love you, we support you. And Daisy just wanted to get in and give a little kiss as well. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Jenny.
Bye.